Welcome to Widowcast Podcast, where you'll find the strength to get through your journey and the skills to coach other widows to do the same. This is not a grief group. This is your journey, and it just may show you the way to make something amazing come out of the emotional pain and trauma of your loss. I'm your host, Joanne Filomena. I'm the best-selling author of the book Widowed and of The Widow Coach. I'm also a professionally certified life coach. Let the healing and the personal journey back to who you are begin. Hi, this is Lesson 11, Emotional Childhood versus Emotional Adulthood. And I'm Joanne, your host. So glad to have you guys back this week. Listen, if you haven't checked out my new website yet, I don't even know if I talked about that on here. You know, for 3 years, my website it said the wrong things on it because I started out as a weight loss coach, a certified life coach, certified in weight loss, and I taught stop overeating. And my entire website was set up as a weight loss coach. Some of you may have gone in the past to take a look at my website and found it a little confusing because I did eventually add some pages on for my widow stuff, but the home page, everything else talked about overeating and emotional eating. So I finally this year decided, you know what, it's time. I need my website to match what I'm doing. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm certifying widow coaches. I've been teaching these courses for a while now. I've got 2 books published as the widow coach. So it was time. So go check it out, you guys. It's really pretty, and I'm so excited to have it out there and all of that good information. And I've even done a couple new blogs to add to it. So go look at JoannTheLifeCoach.com, JOANN, thelifecoach.com. And enjoy. Take a look at some of the blogs, and my podcast is there too. So, emotional childhood. Now, this kind of can rub people the wrong way. At least it did me the first time I learned about it. I was like, what do you mean I'm acting like an emotional child? I just wanted to throw a tantrum about it right there. And that's the clue. Emotional childhood is when grown adults have not matured past childhood in terms of managing their emotions. And the truth is, that's pretty much all of us, because we're not taught where our emotions come from. So to us, we're thinking that all our emotions are happening to us. They're like from things outside of us. We're still functioning as emotional children. Okay? We're not taking responsibility for how we feel in any given moment. Children can't comprehend that their emotion is something that they're creating inside of them, right? Their little brains aren't even fully formed. So their brains are actually wide open. There's a reason they're not born with a fully formed brain, because their brain needs to be different as little kids as it is when you're an adult. Because as little kids, they're learning stuff so fast. They're like absorbing everything around them. They are taking in everything. That's like everything you do, man. The little kid doesn't miss a thing because they're a sponge. Their brain is just taking it all in. And so to them, everything that they feel and everything that's happening to them is all about what's outside of them. A great example of emotional childhood is when you see a little kid sit down and they try for the first time putting on their own shoes, and they can't get the shoe on their foot, and they throw it down, right? They throw it down and they say, "Stupid shoe," because it's the shoe's fault that it won't get on their foot. It's emotional childhood. You know, I've had instances in my adult life that parallel that, where I want to chuck something across the room, say, "Stupid shoe," right? "Stupid computer. Let me throw this thing out the window." Clearly, it's the computer's fault. It's not mine. Children don't have the capacity to make the distinction. And that's why so many people continue to function that way as adults. It not only is it debilitating to live that way, it also locks you in a space of blame. Right? We blame the government. We blame the economy. We blame our bosses. We blame other people. We blame our moms. We blame our dads. Right? We blame our childhood. And yes, we even blame the death of our spouse for some things. We blame other people for not only how we feel, but for the actions we take and the results we get in our life. And it doesn't really work that way. Emotional adulthood is when you've achieved maturity through self-responsibility. Emotional adulthood means that you take responsibility for your own pain and for your own joy. Because as I've talked to you, it's really what you're thinking, it's what you're telling yourself about the facts in the world that make you feel the way you do. An emotional adult does not expect other people to make them happy, right? We can't expect other people to make us happy. And we don't want to be held responsible to make other people happy. If somebody is not going to be happy, they're not going to be happy. I'm sure you've encountered that, where everything you've tried to do to help, just they're not having any of it. So you don't expect other people to make you happy. You don't expect other people to make you feel secure. And you appreciate that you're the only one that can really hurt your feelings with what you're telling yourself. It's a powerful place to be, because with all that responsibility that you're taking on for how you feel is also power, because that means you get to choose how you want to feel. You get to choose how you're going to react. You're not at the mercy of someone else. So taking full responsibility for everything that we feel, no matter what someone else does or doesn't do, that's no small feat. For most people, that's a pretty big challenge. But it's worthwhile. I mean, many people feel like victims, and they feel like they're at the mercy of other people in their lives. Okay? You don't want to be at the mercy of someone else. You want to be able to have control of your own life. If there is someone, let's say there's someone who is divorced and she's trying to raise her child with her ex-husband, and she might believe that her ex is making her feel frustrated or sad or disappointed. As her coach, you want to point out how much power she's giving this ex-husband over her emotional life. And of all the people in the world, is that who she really wants to give that power to? Yeah, let's make your ex-husband be in charge of your power. Be in charge of your feelings. So helping her see the situation as an adult and understand that she's responsible for what she's feeling. And she can change those feelings by changing her perspective. That's so valuable. So consider that when you want to be a functioning adult, that you're really going to consider why it is you feel or act the way you're feeling and acting, and taking back your power. Do you ever slide back into emotional childhood? Of course you do. I do. Somebody cuts me off in traffic, and I'm like total emotional child about it until I can stop myself and say, wait a minute, you have no idea what this person is thinking. You have no idea. They may have had a very good reason that they needed to cut you off to get into the, maybe they're rushing to the emergency room. You don't know. So, consider the concept of emotional childhood versus emotional adulthood. Explore this concept in your own life. Try writing down some examples of where you are acting like an emotional child. Where are you placing blame in your life? Where do you feel entitled to something that you haven't earned? Take a look at that. Like, write it down, notice it, and then decide how you can take your power back for yourself. And I encourage you, if you want to know more about these things and know deeper how to coach this, go to widowcoaches.com. Put in your name and your email address so you can get more information from me about it. I first send you an email offering you the link to a questionnaire so I can get to know you better too. So, this is the kind of stuff we do in Widow Coaches class. And I love it when we can begin calling each other out on our emotional childhood. We talk about this and everybody begins realizing, all of a sudden they go, oh, like they remember a point where they were a total emotional child. And then everybody gets really sheepish and then we laugh about it because this is not something to beat yourself up with, right? This is something to help you grow more in your own power and in your own ability to create the emotions, create the results in your life that you want. So I will talk to you next week. Get out there, find some joy in your life, and then take credit for creating that joy because you are an emotional adult. I'll see you later. Bye.